We've just finished a playthrough of Blitzkrieg, and we thought we'd give our thoughts, opinions, and impressions of this great little game here on Legendary Tactics.
Yeah, so we have played quite a few games of Blitzkrieg.
I'd
It
say
doesn't take
5,
long
10
to play.
games. Yeah, we've gone through a number of them.
Yeah, yeah, fair number. I think we got a good sense of
What this game is all
how
about.
the game is played. And yeah, so what do you like best about this game?
I really like the different theaters. I really like the puzzle it presents you with the different options of abilities and versus victory points, versus filling the rows. I really like the track idea where it has the VPs built into the tracks too. I think there's a lot of clever little mechanics built into this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very simple but smart little game. For
And, like the push and pull too is a really neat little factor too. You know, not letting your opponent get too far ahead. Being mindful of where they're playing into the different theaters. You know, there's just lots of really neat things to consider.
Yeah, and I like how you can finish the row, and maybe pick up a bonus, but then it goes to the person that is leading in that theater. That's where the victory points go. So you want to be, generally speaking, you want to be leading in as many theaters as possible. There's going to be a tug of war back and forth on that. But there's other bonuses to consider. You know, it's not just the only thing. There may be research you want to get, or you want to add to your production, or you want to shift your theater, the one theater in a big way, or you want to affect two theaters at once.
Right.
You know, so there's lots of neat ideas in that. And having the yellow tiles, of course, the research tiles, gives a lot more kind of
weight,
variety, and interest.
Now, one thing with that is that it does go into your draw bag, so you don't get it immediately.
Yes.
So that it is, it's kind of a timed event. You'll get it at some point, hopefully.
You will, yes. But I like that. But I mean, that's the nature of research, right? It's unpredictable.
Yep.
You know, yeah. So I think overall, I think it is it's a smart and fun, little game.
It is not going to be. I mean, it's a bit of a brain burner, but I mean, it's not going to. You're not breaking the bank on this game, right? It's not.
No. It's a good warm up game, or when to end the night. I think
absolutely.
I think it would be fine for that. So are there any aspects that you dislike about it?
Well, the one thing I am curious about now, I mean, the title of the game is Blitzkrieg, and in our last playthrough game, basically, I tried a Blitzkrieg strategy where it was go all out for VPs and just try and rake in I ignored all of the other abilities, and I'm wondering if maybe if an opponent is focusing on that, if there's no way to really slow them down without doing the same strategy. So I'm just wondering. I don't know. We haven't played enough to really test that theory out, but that's a thought I have.
Yes. Yeah, because when you started playing that, I knew what you were up to, but what I was hoping for is you were going to give up enough ground that you were going to stall out before the end, right? So you would stall out at 20, 21 victory points, and then you just could not scrape together because you'd fallen behind in all the theaters that you couldn't catch up. You couldn't reasonably catch up in any of them.
That's right.
To score victory points anymore.
So I would just I would hit a wall eventually.
Yeah, because I think in general, if you get the track about 4 or 5 spaces to your side, it's
hard.
It's pretty hard to get it back to back to zero, or to swing the balance, unless you have some really good luck with the yellow tiles. And even then, it may shift at 5, but then the other person has a 3 and shifts it back 3. So it's I think the balance between the fronts, I think the way to counter your strategy might be something like, try and get you to stall out at 20 victory points and you can't score anywhere else.
Yes,
yes. That's possible. And maybe I didn't execute that quite well, but as far as downsides, I don't think there's any.
I don't have any glaring ones, to be honest.
Any downsides that I would provide would be fully excused by the fact that this is a game that plays in 10 to 20 minutes. And so you can't expect it to have, a lot of,
I mean, I guess
any nitpicks are going to be
yeah.
minimal.
I mean, if you're going to be fussy, maybe the idea that you draw tiles out and you have to kind of rely on the luck of the draw.
Yes.
It's potentially you could put a whole bunch of tech in there where you invest in tech and never see them in the game. But I mean, that's just being pretty nitpicky. That's down the list on overall.
Yeah. And I know that there is a mechanic as well, and I'd consider doing it where you just bomb the other guy into submission. And so if you put play all the bombs, you can effectively just eliminate the other player. I mean, maybe that's a good strat. Maybe I should have done that in our game. Mm-hmm. Just kept on bombing you to the point where you didn't have any tiles left. Maybe, I'm sure this has all been play tested and so forth. I can't really think of any real nitpicks that really jump out. To be honest, I think
it's a really nice pull-in, like a tug of war kind of game.
Yeah. And I actually do kind of like how it finishes before all the theaters are done. So you're never, it's not like you are going to likely complete the whole board. So you have to play assuming that the game is going to end with all the spaces, with a lot of spaces still yet to be covered, and so I think you have to kind of plan that.
Yeah,
out,
and that's interesting because in the game Caesar, that was the kind of the almost the opposite, where you actually the whole board does get filled.
Well, or certainly likely to.
Yes.
So it's but other than that, like there's really no major downsides. Any little quibbles? I mean, arguably, there's potentially an issue with having a whole bunch of weak tiles at the wrong time, and the other person. Yeah,
the luck of the draw idea, right?
Yep, but with draw bag type games, in general that's going to balance.
Well,
out,
that's what
right?
you're getting into when you play this game. So I mean, you kind of go in like with the mindset that's what we're expecting.
Yes, yeah, but everything works quite well, and I think if you've got 20 minutes, I think this is a very fun game and a good way to pass that.
It's a definite winner for me.
Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this little capsule review of Blitzkrieg, and we'll look forward to seeing you here next time
on Legendary Tactics.